Hello again. So still in PubMed, and I've done a simple search using this search box here. Clicked on the advanced search and have a second tutorial on some of the features that are useful in the advanced search, such as this drop-down field where you can limit to, for example, title abstract. I like that quite a lot. But going back to the main homepage, I did want to do a tutorial on the MESH database. So MESH stands for Medical Subject Heading, and you can get to it a few different ways. One way is right here from the PubMed homepage where it says MESH database. Another way is over here on the left. You can just select MESH here, run a search, and it will search the MESH database. So either way is totally legit. I'm just going to use this simple drop down right here and throw my term in, hearing loss. And so this is where you'll do a search for a keyword and you will find out what PubMed or Medline, what they call that particular topic. And hearing loss is hearing loss. That is what the MESH term is. If I were to type in apraxia as an example, it would give us some different terms, and the term for apraxia is apraxias with an S at the end. So just to keep that in mind, that the keyword that you might think to search might not actually be the MESH term. For example, not related to speech language pathology and audiology, but if I were to search breast cancer, it would give us a MESH term of breast neoplasms. So just to keep that in mind, that there are different terms that PubMed uses to describe the MESH terms. And every record in PubMed will have a list of MESH terms. And it is important to know what they are when you're doing your search because it might influence the keywords that you choose. You might do a combination of a keyword and a MESH term, oring them together, for example, breast cancer or breast neoplasms, things like that. But there are also ways to search in MESH to do a sophisticated search. So going back to the topic of hearing loss, I just want to show you what a MESH term looks like once I click on it. So the MESH term for hearing loss is hearing loss, and you can see there are some other variations of the term, and that can be helpful sometimes when you're doing a search. You might see some other terms that might be interesting. But if I click on hearing loss, there's a little definition right there, general term, and here it is again, a general term for the complete or partial loss of the ability to hear from one or both ears. So there's always going to be a definition of whatever MESH term you're looking at. And then what you'll see next are these subheadings. So MESH terms all have a set of subheadings. And this can be helpful as well when you're trying to, find that needle in a haystack. If you're doing research on hearing loss and you want to know about the causes, and you're doing research on the etiology, for example, of your topic, you could just select etiology and run a search for all of the articles in PubMed that have the MESH term assigned hearing loss with a subheading of etiology. Or perhaps you're interested in learning more about different treatments or interventions. So then you could select therapy, for example. Or let's see, perhaps another PICO evidence-based aspect that you're interested in could be diagnosis. So just to let you know, there are these different subheadings. So depending on your topic, you might want to go around and pick a couple of them. Maybe epidemiology, the numbers, you could pick a few of them, you could pick all of them. By default, if you stay in this MESH search, all of them will be selected. But anyway, I'll demonstrate that in a moment. I just want to scroll down a little further to show you some more things that are found on a MESH screen. So those are all the subheadings. And then below the subheadings, you have this option here to restrict your term to be a major concept. So I think in the first tutorial I looked at a record and mentioned how some terms have an asterisk next to the term, and that means that it's a major focus of the article. So there's a way to search that, to have that be part of the way you search, is that the concept is a major focus in the articles. And keep in mind, it is a human, it is a person whose job it is to assign the MESH terms to new articles that get submitted into PubMed. So there could be some subjectivity, some variation. But anyway, it can be a helpful strategy, especially when you're overwhelmed with articles. It can be helpful to do a MESH search and restricting certain topics to be major concepts in your search. And then there's also this option here where it says do not include mesh terms found below this term in the hierarchy. It's a little awkwardly written, but what that means is if I scroll down, our term hearing loss this is a thesaurus, and this term hearing loss falls under hearing disorders, which falls under ear disease, so on and so forth. The broader categories are listed up top, and they become narrower and narrower and narrower. And this is called a tree structure. It's supposed to be akin to tree roots. If you scroll down further, you'll see that hearing loss also appears under a slightly different disease category. In this case, it's falling under the nervous system diseases. And there's even a third category in which hearing loss does show up. It's not super important to know, but it is interesting just to look at how there are these broader and narrower terms that are related in PubMed. So, just quickly, if I were to search for articles where hearing loss is a mesh term, I would just search Add to Search Builder right here. It says hearing loss, and in these hard brackets it says mesh. So by default, all of these subheadings would be included in the search. And by default, it's saying do not include the terms that fall below it. By default, all of these terms will be included in my search. So it's going to be a broader search. So let's just take a look and see what that looks like. So I've added hearing loss as a mesh search, and I want to search PubMed. So my keyword, my concept, my mesh term, not a keyword, sorry, my mesh term for hearing loss, just on its own, there are 60,000 records where that is a key focus of the article. Just as an example, if I were to delete all of this altogether and just do hearing loss without using the mesh, without using the title abstract, just a simple keyword search, there are now 88,000. So the mesh is a more focused way of searching. Let's go back to the mesh thesaurus. Click search. I want to go into the hearing loss record. And just to show you that now, if I were to say that I want this to be a major concept, not just a regular mesh, but a focus of the articles, and I click Add to Search Builder, now you can see it says MAJR. Before it said mesh, MESH. I can search PubMed, and I'm going to get a different set of articles. Now I have 54,000 because it's a more specific search. So these are the articles where hearing loss is a major focus. I'm going to go in here and change that back to mesh, and it's going to take us to that search I just did a moment ago. And I can edit this here, and I can go back to the major. So just to let you know that you can play around once you know what those abbreviations are for mesh and major. I'm going to do another search here in mesh for hearing loss, just to show you the other features. So I had restricted this to be a major. I can see that I don't want my search to include all of these terms that fall below it. Oops, sorry. Just this set of these terms, which are the same as over here. So if I do that and I add it to my search builder, it's going to say major because I said I wanted it to be a major concept. And then it's saying no EXP, which means do not explode the term. In other words, don't take everything below hearing loss. So that's going to be an even smaller search set. So now I have 12,000. I'm going to go back to my hearing loss just to show you, going into the mesh database again, clicking search for hearing loss, and wanted to show you how you can play around even further. So let's say I want to find articles with hearing loss that are a major topic. So I've selected that. And then I want to see what sort of therapy or intervention or treatment studies are out there where it's also a main concept. So I selected that one subheading, and now I'm going to add it to my search builder, and you can see that therapy is now a subheading, and it's saying major because I did select it to be major. And click search, and we're going to get a certain number of results. I can, again, just to show you, play with this. If I wanted more, I can just change mesh to major, but that would be a broader search where hearing loss isn't necessarily a main focus. But anyway, when I do hearing loss / therapy major focus, we can still, make our search even a little more specific. I can try to find some of those RCTs. I might want to limit to the last 5 years. I might want to limit to a particular age group and say, all children, which should be here somewhere, birth to 18. And now we have a manageable number of articles, 29. So the mesh searching is it's a great way to find really manageable and excellent articles where there's like a guarantee that the topic that you're searching will be part of the articles in your results. So again, changing the format from summary to abstract, which is helpful because then we can get see more information about each record. So by changing the format to abstract, now we can actually see the abstract, which is helpful. We can quickly see the get it link and the mesh terms that are here. And so you can see that hearing loss is considered a focus. Rehabilitation is the subheading. Therapy didn't show up in this particular article, but hearing loss is one of the main focuses. If I scroll down further to look at some of these other records, where's hearing loss? Why am I not seeing it? Oh no. Deafness? Oh, because I didn't explode. That's right. It's bringing up all of the terms that fall below my topic. So hearing loss, a narrower term was deafness. And deafness is related. It's part of that broader search. It's just a narrower topic. So it's kind of fun to look at the mesh terms and see what comes up and what doesn't. Here's hearing loss with drug therapy, not the same as the intervention / therapy, but it's a major focus. So it isn't totally 100% precise. Well, no, that's not true. It is very precise. It's finding all of the main concepts for hearing loss. And we've already said RCT, so those are, implied as being intervention studies. But anyway, just so that you can see how these different search strategies can really change and influence your search results in a really positive way. Once again, clicking on advanced, you can actually see all of the searches that I've been doing in these videos. So yeah, play around with mesh. It's super, super powerful, and I think you'll find that you are going to find excellent articles on your topic if you go in and do a mesh search. Okay, thanks. That's it for now. Bye.